All right. We good? We live? Looks good. Looks good. Always concerned with YouTube. Always tons of problems with YouTube, but it seems like it's okay. My chat is working, I think, but the view count isn't working, so I don't know if anyone's watching. But I guess we'll just assume everybody's on. Sometimes it doesn't show up. Let me reload the page. Maybe I lost the connection. But I'm excited to be here. I've been waiting for this for a couple of weeks. It's exciting times because I didn't actually expect this skate to ever happen. But I'm thrilled that it's here. Yeah, I'm not showing views, but I see people watching. It's very strange. But I guess that's the way YouTube is. Live analytics isn't working. Hey everyone, welcome to Gear Talk episode 88. Gear Talk is the show that we do every other week where we talk about the geekier side of rollerblading. If you know the difference between the Rollerblade TRS, the Dirk, and the Canvas, and the Paw, and the Solo, then you've come to the right place. Gear Talk is a show where we break down the weird stuff that can make your skating experience not so great and try to improve your skates and improve your fit so that you have a great time when you're out there rollerblading. We do this every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern live on YouTube, and I would love to have you in the live stream if you are interested. Sometimes it's hard with time zone, totally get that, especially our friends over in Europe or in Asia, it's difficult to make it work. But if you can, jump on in the live stream. We do have people leaving comments and chatting. It's always a great opportunity to connect with the rest of the community. I do encourage people to ask questions. If you've got questions that I can answer, or if you've got questions for the community that you want me to see and I might be able to help with, make sure that you tag Back to Blading. That way I'll see it. It shows up in orange and I'll be able to go through it. I will take a break and answer questions if anybody has them. So make sure that you queue up your questions now if you're watching live. If you are not watching live, no big deal. Make sure that you leave a question in the comments in the video. I do read all of my comments, and while I might have all of the answers, I do my best to track down the answers for you. And if you liked the show, always a great opportunity to just say what you like, what you didn't like. I'm always looking for ways to improve. Again, I do this for the community, so if I'm missing the mark on something or if I can do better on something, let me know. That's the way that I can get better at it. Like we do before every episode, I always like to thank our friends over at the Helmet Initiative for helping us with our helmet giveaway. I am a big proponent of helmets. If you've seen this show, you've heard me say this a dozen times. The helmet is the most important piece of equipment that you could wear. More important than your skates, more important than your wheels, more important than your wrist guards, is a helmet. It's super important that when you're doing something outside of your comfort zone, you wear a helmet. Now, I wear a helmet every time I skate. I just want to take out all that insurance. I don't think it's worth falling down and hitting my head. Accidents happen. I don't fall very often, but when I do, I want to make sure that I'm protected. And I want to encourage everybody out there to wear their helmet as well. If you need a helmet, I know that helmets can be a little expensive, $50 to $60 for a nice certified helmet. Let us know. Go to backtoblading.com/helmet. I will put a link in the chat. Backtoblading.com/helmet. We do a helmet giveaway every week, and we are happy to be working with the Helmet Initiative to get some helmets to give away. Go to that website, put in your information, and we will pick somebody at random to give away a helmet. And it's a real thing. We actually send out helmets to people. If you are in the US, we will ask you your size and we'll find you a helmet. If you're outside of the US, we will find you, track you down, and probably send you some money so that you can cover a helmet locally. It's so expensive to ship helmets over to you, and then you have to pay import fees and VAT and customs charges and all that stuff. Rather than do that, we just send you some cash. The way we're able to do that is through our supporters on Patreon. Patreon.com/backtoblading is where you can get more information. We put some exclusive content up there. We do some live streams, and we have all of our archives of live streams up there. All of the skates that we're going to review, you get a credit if you're on the $5 plan, a $5 donation. But $1 a month is the minimum. That would be more than enough to help with our helmet giveaway. More people that can support the channel, the better. But really, anything that you can do would be appreciated. Most importantly is just go out there and evangelize skating. We want to make sure that our numbers continue to grow. This last couple of years has been huge for rollerblading, getting it back into people's zeitgeist, getting it into pop culture, seeing rollerblades all over the place and YouTube and on music videos and stuff. Go out there and skate. Super important. Spread the word of rollerblading and wear a helmet if you can. Thanks again to the Helmet Initiative for helping us with our giveaway. Thanks to our supporters on Patreon for helping us with shipping costs and for getting some money so that we can give helmets to people outside of the U.S. Before we get started to the main event, I'd like to share my current setup. It's been a while since I've done any big wheel skating. It's getting pretty cold here, and I'm a real aggressive guy. Like, I love skating big wheels, but if I have a chance to skate on the weekend, I would rather skate aggressive. My big wheel setup, last time I skated, I was skating on the Next with the 90s. I had to give away my 90 millimeter wheels because we're completely out of 90s. So I don't really have a big wheel setup right now, but I have plenty of aggressive setups. So my aggressive setup, I actually skated 2 this week, and there's kind of a funny story behind them. The first one that I skated was the Roces Majestic 12 Grant Hazelton edition. Oh, here it is. So these are the Roces Majestic 12s. These are the Grant models. They are all black with the white cuff and the white cuff bolt, white buckle. It's a really great, iconic Roces skate. It's the black and red with the white that we grew up loving. It comes with a different liner. I have the liner over here, actually. This is the way that it comes, with the liner with the polka dots. Unfortunately, this liner is a 43. This boot is a 43-44. My foot is a 44, so it doesn't really fit into this liner. So instead, I put in the Roces RL1. So this is Roces' answer to Intuition. It is a very thin, very dense foam liner. It's perfect for riding Majestic 12s for me. My foot is not narrow, it's fairly normal width. This is a fairly narrow skate though. So if I were skating Crown liners, or if I were skating Fat Boy liners, or any other My Fit liner or a Rain liner, they might not fit super well. This RL1 is super thin, super responsive, super dense padding, and it's super comfortable, and it fit my foot perfectly. I had a really great time skating these skates. I haven't skated Majestic 12s in a long time. When I was skating them last, it was the Valo V13s. I'd never skated a Roces Majestic 12 in the current era. So this is a really great model to show off what the Majestic 12 can look like. I swapped back to balance frames. So these are the 50-50 balance frames. This is the reason why I brought back the 50-50 company into existence and started making frames again. I absolutely love these frames. It is different than other frames out there. It has a very tight groove. It's a very low ride. So these are 60 millimeter wheels, but they're slightly worn. If you were skating 60s flat, you might actually rub. You can see the distance between the wheel and the boot very close in the front and the back. So 60s is a big wheel. These are really designed for 58s, but they ride 60s fine if you wear them down a little bit. I was skating anti-rocker UHMW juice blocks, or use some UHMW anti-rocker wheels. Absolutely loved this session, with one exception. So this is a fairly difficult skate to do boot down royales with. The reason for that, if you look at the side, the reason for that, this is already a narrow boot, mind you. The sole plate is very narrow, so it kind of goes in underneath the boot. So the boot actually, you can kind of see from this angle, the boot comes down and then the groove actually goes underneath. There's an angle of this groove. So it's even lower than the boot. When I was saying that it was a narrow boot and the groove was narrow, the Royale groove is even lower than the boot. And what that means is when you're trying to get boot down, the angle that you have to get boot down on a Roces Majestic 12 is insane. it is super steep compared to what I'm used to, which is basically any other skate on the market. I actually have my rail here. Let me get the rail. So you can see this angle. So when you're doing Royales, you want 2 points of contact. You get pretty deep on this Royale groove. Now compare this angle to what I was skating before, which is this. So this is the USD 7. This is the Kaiser Fluid 4 frame. This is probably going to be one of the most stand-up setups that you got, but you can see that angle is not even steep. And this is fully boot down. You can see I'm on the, if I go any lower, I'm going to be just like I'm lifting up the frame. That angle versus this angle, if you've got old knees, which one would you prefer? Well, for me, I tried this one, and I absolutely struggled with this one. It was really difficult to get boot down. I was able to do it. I was skating them in the warehouse, and I did a live stream that's on the Patreon, and I was able to get boot down on these. The problem is, I just don't know that I like it. Having to work so hard to get boot down on a Royale, it takes the fun out of skating. Like, I can't just enjoy the grind. I have to really think about it. And it got me thinking, a lot of people don't know the difference between angles of skates, and especially when you're just learning how to skate, having an angle like this can be really difficult for people to learn Royales on. So I did that video that you might have seen that I explained how I do Royales, everything that I've learned over the years about how to do Royales, and broke down each of the different skates and which Royale angles were more generous, which Royale angles were more difficult. None of them are wrong. You can do Royales on any of the skates. I was doing Royales on this skate, and it's fine. But if you want a little bit more of a relaxed ride, you don't have to worry about your knees, you don't have to worry about getting super, super low to get boot down, this is definitely a difficult skate to do that on. But it is a beautiful skate, and I love the ride. It just felt so good skating it. If this sole plate were a little different, just this Royale groove, if the Royale groove was a little different, I would probably be skating these still. I didn't even mind the narrow sole. The sole was fine. Like you can see on the sole plate where there was wax, and then you can see the little edge of the rail of the coping that I was skating. It's absolutely fine. I mean, there's plenty of room. You can lock on just fine. You have to think about it a little bit. Like I thought that it was going to be small, but then when you jump on, you just commit and you can do soles, no problem. You don't need that huge sole that you get. But having this deep Royale angle definitely kind of turned me off on these skates. So for my video, I jumped back to my standard skate. No longer the USD Carbons, my favorite skates. The skates that I actually think about skating. After I skate all these different skates, I always go back to this fit because it just feels so good on my feet, is the Adapt. So these are the 2018 Adapt Stealth. Maybe the 2018, maybe 2017. 20-something 18, sir. Adapt Stealth. They are an amazing skate. This is a carbon shell, full carbon, so it goes all the way up to the cuff. This is all carbon up here. Can't even squeeze the cuff, it's so carbon. It has a nubuck skin, so this is super flexy, super cozy, like a shoe, like an athletic shoe, like a nice pair of Adidas or something. It's light. It has a really big sole plate. You can compare this sole to the Majestic 12. You can see the size of this sole versus this sole. It's just like this huge lunch tray compared to this little small sole. And I didn't mind this sole, but it's nice having this sole. You can get a little sloppy. You don't have to think so hard. Most important thing, though, this Royale groove is great. So even with prime frames, I was at a really nice angle. That's just a really comfortable angle for me. It's almost like a 45 degree. I think the Rossi's was a little steeper. It was more like that. This is just a really comfortable angle. I can get boot down. I know that I can trust my sole plate to be there. I can push down hard on this Royale foot, and I can really balance myself out, especially on back Royales. I love the feeling of getting that back foot just pushed down, and you can just kind of coast, kind of surf. Mixed with prime frames, I think this is a really killer setup for me. Everybody's different, but for me, the way that I skate, the angles that I do my tricks on, this is a really amazing combination. And the Adapt is an amazing skate. There's something that we don't think about, which is the sound of skating. There's no better sound than this Adapt. It just feels amazing to skate, but it sounds amazing when you're skating them. If you saw John Fromm's promo video, don't just watch the promo, listen to the promo, and you can hear everything is just boom, boom, boom. Like there's no moving parts. There's no buckle because it's a Velcro buckle. Like this is the only metal up here, and it's on leather or nubuck. It's not making a rattling sound. If anything, maybe the bearings will make sounds, but I mean you can't hear my bearings. They're nice and quiet. Absolutely love these skates though. They are a little bit expensive. You know, this is a skate that you would get if you already have gotten a bunch of different skates. You know what you like, and you know that you're going to like something like this. It is a flat sole boot, so it's got a shock absorber on the inside to give you a little bit of heel raise. It's carbon, so it's going to be stiff, but if you know that that's okay for you, I don't know that you're going to find a more comfortable skate. All right, so those are my skates. Next week, hopefully, we'll be in a different pair. Before I answer your questions, I would love to answer your questions. I do have a little bit of housekeeping. I actually forgot all about this before I started talking about my skates. I got so excited talking about the skates that I forgot to tell you that we have some new frames coming in. So full disclosure, I am an owner of 50/50. Always like to say that in case anybody doesn't know already, but the last couple of years I've been working on developing a new frame. It is called the Prime Frame based on the Core System 2. We released them in June of this year. There's a great video that I went over every little detail about the Prime Frames and what they're all about and why we did them the way that we did, what the core frame market is all about, and how to develop your own frame walls for the system. This is our second drop, so we're super excited to have a second release of the Prime Frames coming. They should be in my warehouse next week. Next week, however, is Christmas here in the US and other places around the world, I guess, if you celebrate. But they'll be here next week. I won't be shipping next week. I'm going to take the week off. So we'll be doing all the shipping the following week, last week of December. Might slip into first week of January. We've got a bunch of orders going out. But I'm super thrilled to have our first signature frame for my good friend John Fromm, who actually helped develop the Prime Frames. He was instrumental in testing them. We created some, we got some cores for him made, and we were 3D printing different versions of the Prime Frame with different grooves and different splits, and we kept sending him new prints to see what he liked best and why. And he was super, super helpful with giving us feedback, refining it until we got it perfect, until we got that groove dialed in for the way that he likes to skate, which just so happens to be the way that I like to skate as well. So here they are, John Fromm signature Prime Frames. These will be shipping next week, maybe the week following. They are a white wall with gold print, gold John Fromm logo. It is a gold anodized aluminum core. This is the same core that we introduced in the launch with the white and the black frames, except instead of being a clear anodized, which turns them silver, they are a gold anodized. So it's completely backwards compatible with any other walls you might have out there. And if you buy this frame, any future walls for the Core System 2 will be completely compatible. So you just have to swap out the walls. You can put this gold with black, with white, with red, with whatever color walls you want. It will all be completely compatible. We also have gold axles. So these are the same axles that we released with the original Prime Frames, but instead of coating them, we electroplated them. So electroplating is a process that I didn't know anything about. I'm not a material guy. I am a product designer. And every time I have an opportunity to try something new, I jump on it. And they said in order to do gold coloring, we could paint them, or we could pay a little bit more and do electroplating. So what they do is they put them in a solution. So it's a raw axle before any coating on it. So as soon as it comes out of the machine, they put them aside, they clean them up, they put them aside, and they put them into this tank, like this water tank with some solution. I don't know if there's like a pH balance or something like that. They run electricity through there. They what's it called? They naturalize it or something. I'm not really sure what the process is. But they do something to it to like adjust the electrons, and then they run electricity through gold plates and silver plates and bronze plates and tin plates or whatever. And it takes the molecules, the electricity or whatever it is, and it drags it through the cables and it plates it into this solution. I watched a video on it. I don't have any experience in it, but it looks like something that you could actually do at home. It's fascinating. These axles, you can kind of see, they are 100% gold plated now. So it's not just the head that's painted. There's no paint here. It's not going to chip off or flake off. It is on there just like any other axle would just have a regular color. Like if it's scratched off, it'll scratch off, but it's not going to flake off. It's not paint. The axle fully is gold. Even the threads are gold. Everything about these axles is gold. Super awesome. I'm absolutely thrilled with the way that these came out. We will have these axles available aftermarket as well. So if you have other frames, if you have black prime frames, or if you have, printed frames that you want to put gold axles on, you can pick up these axles as well. We'll have those on our website and at shops. We'll also be selling the John Frum core walls, the prime walls, separately. So if you've already purchased prime frames and you have silver cores and you don't really need the gold cores, maybe you want the gold cores because they're pretty cool. If you don't want to get another set of gold cores, you could reuse your cores, your axles, your frame spacers, your bearing spacers, all of that stuff, and just get new walls, just like you would swap out wheels, just like in the past you would swap out grind plates. So we'll have these walls available too. And for both of those products, John always gets a royalty. That's built into the way that we're doing our pricing. So John will get paid no matter what. Don't worry that you have to buy a complete or a wall only to get John paid. Any way you can support John, anytime you get a wall with his name on it, we are paying him the same royalty. So it works out for him. It's an amazing frame. We also have another drop of the black frames coming in, so they will be the same as the original, black walls with the silver core, black axles. We've tightened up some of the tolerances, and they're coming pre-assembled. So we did have some manufacturing hiccups, I will say, with the first production, where some of the boxes were missing some frame spacers. Some of these axles spun a little bit inside the frame wall. That won't happen this time. They are completely assembled, so we'll know before you get them that the axles fit perfectly within the frame walls. All you'll need to do is unscrew them, put your wheels in, screw them back in, unless you want to buy it ready to roll. So we do have an exciting bundle that we're going to be providing. This is the John Frum signature frame bundle with red-eye wheels. So these come with the John Frum frames I just talked about. It also includes the John Frum 60mm 90A red-eye wheels. These are his latest version of the red-eye wheels. They are gold and they match and they look beautiful. They also come with Jason and Andretti. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Adriani. Sorry, Jason. The Jason Adriani anti-rocker wheels. They are 46mm 101A. Each of these wheels come with the aluminum bearing spacers and the AVEC 9 50/50 bearings. So you will be cruising like this. You can access the frame bolts. So they will come like this. They will come in this special box. They will come with, I think I've talked about these, special laces. So you can have the full look. These are the new 50/50 laces. They're white with the gold print. Super beautiful. They are 52 inches, I think. So they will not wrap around your skate, but they'll pull up and they'll fit most of the skates. They're the ones that I use, like on my Sebas. Oh, I have them up here on my Sebas, I think, yeah. So these are the Fitty Fitty laces in black and red. This is how long they are. They fit most skates, no problem. They won't wrap around the back if you're looking for that. But they fit most skates the way most people skate them. But in the white and gold so that they will match with the white and gold on the frames. Really, really amazing look. These will be available, limited supply. I think we've only got 20 of them coming in. So this is a super, super limited release. They'll be available at the same time. I think they're going to ship in January. We're waiting on the packaging. So the frames will be set aside, but we've got the wheels, we've got the bearings. We just need to get the packaging, and it's supposed to be here first week of January. So it'll ship maybe a week later than the regular frames, but if you want that bundle, there's only 10 of them out there, 20 of them out there, 10 of each size. And they're really amazing. I absolutely love the way that this frame came out. It's beautiful. It's something that I would never pick. You know, like my design style is much more like plain, but John wanted to go with gold. When he told me that he wanted to go with gold, I was like, that sounds amazing. Like, I think you should definitely do it. And then he released this wheel that had the gold. I was like, all right, I guess we're doing gold. And yeah, they looked great. Absolutely great. They look great in person. I think you're going to love them. Again, thanks, John, for all of your support and helping us get this frame to market. And thanks, everybody, for the support. We actually placed this order before the last Prime frames landed. So these have been in production and waiting on a boat forever. They were actually sitting off the port in LA for a month, just sitting there. And I had nothing that I could do. So they are out of the port now. They should be in the distribution center on Friday. And then they'll be delivered to our warehouse next week. Obviously, I'm going to be out of town, so it won't be delivered to a warehouse next week. But we will have them last week of December, and we will get them out to you as soon as possible. Pre-orders start on Saturday. So more information, get the Fitty Fitty Instagram or on the Facebook, and they'll be available in Bounce Distribution or your favorite skate shop. We already got lots of pre-orders coming in. So skate shops, if you have a local skate shop, definitely support your skate shop. If you want to buy from us, we're not going to say no. We'll have a limited amount available online for you there. Thanks again for a little housekeeping break. All right, let's do this. Let's take a few questions and see if there's anything interesting going on. And then I will break open the skates and we'll talk a little bit about some skates. All right, first question, music and randomness. Any truth to the rumor of K2 releasing a new skate? I don't know anything. I don't know anybody at K2 anymore, so I don't have any insider information. What I do know is that K2 says a lot of things on their social, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're actually going to do anything. I think that K2 funnily missed the mark when it came to having a skate available during COVID, which is hilarious to me. That, you know, they just kind of dropped out, and right when they dropped out, COVID boom, and that was when they could have sold a ton of skates. I was not a big fan of the Front Street. I think I've been pretty vocal about that. I think it was a pretty uncomfortable skate for most people. I do think the Fatty is a great skate, and I think if they brought back the Fatty style, a little bit more floppy, but UFS, I think they would have really knocked it out the park for people who were coming back to blading during COVID. I don't know that they're going to be able to bring back the glory days, but I don't know. Any truth to the rumors? I don't know. I mean, until I see anything, I won't believe it. I don't think they're working on a new skate. Maybe they'll reissue one of their old skates. But yeah, I don't think I wouldn't put it past them to bring it out, because there is a movement where people are bringing out new boots. I mean, we talk a lot about how there's so many boots out right now and so many more boots coming. It would be silly for K2 to not be part of that, but I mean, that's K2 for you. They make decisions not based on what the community wants, but probably what the business decides is the right thing to do. So I do hope that they come out. I think having, again, like the Rollerblade, I think having something that is a big brand that supports aggressive would be killer, especially in big box stores. Being able to have aggressive represented alongside recreational is always a good thing, especially for the kids who are going out there and they want to go skating with their parents, and then they see these weird skates that have little wheels and they have all these plastic things on the sides, and they're like, what are these for? And they Google it and they say, oh, aggressive, like jumping off stuff and grinding things. This is amazing. That's how one of the ways that we can get kids more involved in aggressive. But I'm not going to hold my breath, say that much. Great question, though. Yeah, I've seen a lot of news around K2 lately, and I don't know that I believe any of it. Anthony Meha, any plans on having more guests on like the last episode? Yes. So last episode we were able to have Grant Hazelton on. It was an amazing show. Absolutely love having guests on. It's something that I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable with. I'm a very conservative dude when it comes to COVID and stuff. So I always like to make sure that I hang out with people who are fully vaccinated, and vaccines weren't really a thing until, this year. So it's kind of weird and people are still kind of hesitant to travel. But yes, absolutely. I think it's great to have more perspectives on things. I love talking to skaters about how they set up their skates. And, I have a lot of great friends who are really great skaters. So I think they bring a lot of interesting perspective to the conversation. So great suggestion. If you have any special guest requests, let me know. I'll see if I can make a phone call and get somebody in town. Would love to chat with some of your favorite skaters and learn a little bit more about why they do things the way that they do them. Great question. It's funny, I haven't heard that question until I brought a guest on, and then now it's all about the guests. Chris Russell asks, how tight are your skates? As a hockey player, I like a tight fit, but I see guys wear loose skates. I'm tempted to loosen them for trying topsides, but don't want to compromise stability. Chris, I am too a hockey player. I grew up playing hockey, and I love my skates tight. I do everything that I can to learn my tricks with tight skates. I think that loosening your skates is a good way to do tricks, but I feel like in a lot of ways it's an unsafe way to do tricks. That skate is a boot, and the more stability that you can get around your foot when you're doing the tricks, if you fall down, the more stability you'll have when you fall. You won't hurt yourself as much. And I do see people, especially on topside tricks, loosen their buckle a little bit and, maybe skate with a couple clicks instead of the, normal setup that they would normally. I'm not a fan of that. Like, I think you should skate the skates solid. You should learn the trick solid. You should bend your knees more and do the topside with your knee. Do it properly. I'm not great at topside tricks. And I found that loosening does definitely help, but I resist that urge so that I can learn them properly because I don't want to hurt my ankles. And yeah, as a hockey player, it feels gross. It feels gross skating around with loose skates. I like a good fit. I don't like any raise inside of my foot. I like my liner to fill out that shell. I like to be able to tighten my laces down, tighten my buckles down. Love a good 45-degree strap. And I love just the feeling of skating. And if you don't have that, just get some soap shoes. Like, you don't need skates. Just jump on an object and slide down it. You don't need wheels on your feet. Great question, though. I don't talk very much about fit and how I skate them. But yeah, I always crank as much as I can. I wear really tight, thin socks, and when I heat mold skates, I tighten them up super tight because I know that I'm going to want them super tight when I'm skating. Great question. Mr. Darren 25, before the blanks came out, I had the crazy idea of modding my Dirks to UFS. How did you manage to mod them to fit the old Fitty Fitty frames back in the day? That is a great question. So I do have some Dirks. These are actually the Patrons. They aren't Dirks, but they're based on the same mold. So these are the Patrons. They were the first new mold that Rollerblade invested in. So they came out with the Tarmac CE, which was like the first aggressive skate we had. And then they came out with a few different skates. They came out with the box cars. These are the box cars. These are the box cars. They're really not aggressive skates. They don't have an H-block, kind of an H-block, I guess. They don't have much going on there. There's no groove. It's just this, I don't know. I mean, it's really a Majestic 12 with a freestyle like recreational frame on it. But this was their first stab. This is kind of what the Tarmac CE looked like. And then they invested in an actual boot for aggressive. And this was their first boot. This is a future revision, maybe like the third series of this boot, third revision of this boot. The Dirk, though, was a fun skate to skate. I had a pair of Daytonas, not Dirks, the blue Daytonas. And we were able to get 50-50 frames on there. Now, back in those days, UFS is a flat mounting system. So the front and the back bolt are completely flat. The old 50-50 frames were a raised heel boot. So this was up. And this was a little nubbin with a bolt. And then this was a little inset nubbin with a bolt. So it was still a 2-bolt system, but it fit the sort of skates that were out there. So if you put this on there, you would see there'd need to be a really tall base plate back in the heels. But if you had a tall frame in the back, you would just need a small base plate in the back with a heel. We would never put a UFS frame on there. So there was a time when Solomon came to us and said, hey, we'd love to get some frames on our skates. And we said, yeah, we can't really do that because if you remember, Solomon has a completely flat boot on the bottom. So use this as an example. So this is what a Solomon looks like underneath. And you can imagine if you had an old 50-50 frame with a raised heel style frame that's, raised up in the front and then lower in the back, how would you do that? Well, you'd need a big base plate in the front to compensate for the different size and the different gap. That's a lot of plastic and a lot of weight. So they said, well, actually, why don't we just do UFS and we'll just do a completely new frame standard. And we were like, all right, that sounds cool. And then a lot of frame companies came out and then we kind of went out of business. But if we were putting a UFS frame on here, it would be the same problem that we ran into with Solomon. So you could make it flat up front, but you would have a really difficult time making a UFS base plate for the heel because you've got this huge amount of space that you'd have to fill with some sort of a material. And I don't know that it's worth it. I would add that the mounting of the Dirk is crazy. There are these mounds. You can kind of see, it's really hard to see, but under the H-block, you can see this little like mound area under here. That is one of the mounting areas. So you take this liner out and there's a bolt that goes into the frame from inside the boot that loosens up the frame. It's a really bizarre system, but it's got 3 points of contact, 3 mounting bolts with these mounds that this frame sits on. It's really hostile for aftermarket frame development, and I don't know if that was by design, but it definitely didn't help us at all. I think putting these into a UFS design would be a lot of work, and definitely not worth it in my eyes. But amazing skates, classic skates. These are pretty heavy, but I would love to get myself a pair of Dirks to skate them again. It's been so long since I've skated those skates. I don't know that they'd hold up, though. I think I remember them fondly, but definitely not my favorite skates. All right, I think we are good. We are about 40 minutes in. We're going to go long tonight. If you haven't already, get yourself a drink, get some popcorn. It's going to be a long night. Let's get into the main event. So, how do we start this? So, a lot of skate companies out there. I was just talking a little bit about K2 and how K2 is one of the bigger skate companies. They kind of hit all of the big brand stores. So if you go into, we have a store here called Dick's Sporting Goods. I think there's a few dozen of them around the East Coast. They're very East Coast based. I remember there was Sport Chalet when we were over in California. There was like Big Five, like all those big brands. Those are the sort of shops that would carry Rollerblade. And back in the days, that's where you would go to find aggressive skates. Not only did they have the Rollerblade Zetra blades or whatever their popular skates or Metro blades, whatever the popular skates were back in the days. They would also have whatever their most recent trick skates were, aggressive skates were. And that's where you'd find Patrons or you'd find Dirks or something like that. Not having that, with Rollerblade not having a skate out and with K2 not having a skate out, kind of hurts us as aggressive skaters. Because if people go in to look for rollerblades, all they get is fitness options. They don't even know that there is an option for aggressive. They don't even think about it. Like, why would you think that there'd be a special skate for jumping on handrails? Like, that's not something that somebody who just wants to go rollerblading down the street even considers. It's not in there. It's not even a thing. So having that marketing for aggressive alongside the other skates is amazing. And with K2 pulling out, not making the front street anymore, Rollerblade, unfortunately, pulled out of aggressive as well. So about 2 years ago, they stopped making the Rollerblade Solo and the New Jack. So these are the two last Rollerblade skates. They had the New Jack. This is the... I don't have a cuff on this one, but this is the Rollerblade New Jack. I got these when I got back into it. They were still in production, so they were still making these skates. This is the Team Edition. There was a Pro Edition that had black and green highlights, I think black and gray, maybe with some green. It was a skinned skate, plastic shell, big sole plate, came with blank frames, great liner. It was a little heavy, but all in all, I didn't mind the skate. It was fine. They also had the Solo. So the Rollerblade Solo, I think, was actually discontinued before I came back. They weren't making them currently when I got my New Jacks, my New Jack teams. But this was their top of the line skate. This was the thing that was going to replace that New Jack style, the TRS style. This was a mix between the Rollerblade Fusion, which was a recreational skate, and the Rollerblade Solo, which at the time I think it was called the Tribe. It's been called, it was the Rob G, the Estilo. There were a few different names that they used for this boot. This was the last one that they made. So this was the Solo. I think I got these in 2018, maybe. This is the 2018 version. It's a very interesting skate. It is a UFS boot. Oops, with a sole plate on the inside for the negative that I don't use. It is a UFS boot where the bolts mount directly to the boot itself. And that was super interesting for fitness as well. So they would have big wheels, and the big wheel boot that would come with 4x80 would also be UFS. So if you wanted, you could just get these little sliders on the side, screw them on, and get yourself a UFS aggressive frame and go out and do some soul grinds, do some royales or whatever. This was an interesting boot. I only skated it a couple of times. I didn't love it, and the fact that they were discontinuing it kind of turned me off to skating it anymore. But I loved the idea of it. I love the idea of having a flat boot, plastic flat boot with a built-in UFS mount, with an internal shock absorber, with a sole plate that you can mount onto the bottom. Because that's really the bare minimum that you need. There's no unnecessary parts. There's no sole plates that are just heavy that are going to create this artificial heel raise. They put a little shock absorber in there to make it feel like you're leaning forward a little bit, give you a little bit of cushion. You didn't need a sole plate. They had this little wing on the side that just bolted on the side. And that's where you do your sole grinds. You don't have to worry about this whole wraparound sole plate. It's just this little fin that goes on the side. Now, aesthetically, I didn't like this at all. I didn't think it was a good look. It's a little bit too shiny in some places that I don't think it needs to be. I think this sole plate feels definitely like an afterthought. They just kind of bolted it on. Oh, we need to make something that people can do the sole tricks on. We'll just mount it on the side. Definitely not my favorite look. I do think that an integrated sole plate is the way to go. But functionally, these made a lot of sense in my head. I think it was a really smart design. It lasted probably about 10 years. It was a very successful skate, not only for aggressive, but for fitness. And I'm kind of bummed that they discontinued it, but they brought it back. So when they discontinued it, there were rumors that they were going to remake it into something a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more deliberate, opinionated. Instead of trying to do recreational and aggressive, they said, no, we're just going to do aggressive with this. This is an aggressive boot. It's UFS. UFS should be aggressive. Now, we can argue about UFS, and UFS is for anything, but UFS for rollerblade is aggressive. 165 for rollerblade is fitness. Totally makes sense. There's a nice line drawn in the sand. Aggressive boots are over here. Fitness boots are over here. this needed to be a new aggressive boot. And then the rumor started that they were going to be releasing it, and they were going to call it blank. It was going to be the blank boot under the blank brand. They were leaking some photos and everything, and they came out this month. We saw a lot of teasers and a lot of reviews. I've seen a few pictures floating around of people skating them, and I know that there were a lot of videos of some of my YouTube friends who already have a pair of these skates. I have done everything that I can to stay spoiler free. I have not watched any of those videos. It's hard not to see pics that show up in my feed when people are making a note of something or whatever. So I can't say that I'm completely... I can't say that I haven't seen anything about these skates, but I'm going in as fresh as I could after them being out for, a month and a half or so without me having a pair. I got them 2 weeks ago. I haven't been able to open them yet. I got them from Roller Warehouse. Huge shout out to Roller Warehouse, to Gil. They had this amazing poster in the box for Sean Keen. This is the Sean Keen blank Pro Model skate. I love it when they take care of riders. It's super important to me that people take care of the people who are out there promoting your brand. And this is just a little thing. It's just a poster. It's nothing crazy or anything, but it's just really nice that Roller Warehouse stands behind their people. I know Sean works a little bit at Roller Warehouse. I know he was there when the orders were coming in, talking to people on the phone about the fit, about the sizing, about what to expect. That is an amazing, extra step that a lot of shops would do. I'm glad that Roller Warehouse did it. And having this little poster is really cool. They were handing these out. They sponsored an event at the Blading Cup this year, where they were working with Blank to, celebrate the release of the skate. Handing these posters out. I'm glad that I got a copy. I'm going to put it up in the warehouse somewhere. But you don't care about the poster. Oh my God. You care about the skates. So here we go. So, full disclosure, I did open up this box. So the way that it was shipped was this box, but it was inside out. So I have peeked inside this box. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't lie to you. Why would I lie to you? I have peeked inside this box. I have not held the skates more than putting them back into the box, but I peeked inside the box so that I could flip this box around because it was shipped with my address and without the logo and everything. And I want to make sure that when I do the tutorial, when I do the thumbnail, and when I've got, the unboxing, I've got all the box the way that it's come. So I have opened it, but now I'm going to open it again. These are the blank SKs. This box is a little heavy. I'm not going to lie. Ugh. All right. So here we go. There's going to be a few things coming out. First of all, these are the boots. So fresh out of the box, this is the blank SK by Rollerblade. Blank by Rollerblade SK. Not really sure which way they want us to talk about it. All black, 45-degree strap. Killer buckle with a little, I love the little engraving and stuff. This is Rollerblade. Come on. Sweat the details, put your logo on the buckle. Just show off a little bit that you own a buckle. New sole plate. Blank frames. This is the boot. Now, where are the wheels? So here's a fun one. Let me put this over here. So this is how it came. I'm not lying to you. I told you already that I redid the box. Here are the wheels. So I looked at this and I just laughed. So first of all, why are the wheels not on the skate? That's just weird to me. Second of all, why are they white? Look at the picture of the skate. They got black wheels. All of the promos, all of the order forms, all of the promo shots. I know that when I clicked add to cart, the wheels were black. But here I got white wheels. So, obviously that is such a petty thing to complain about. But if you buy a skate and it comes looking a little different, I mean, that's just something that I gotta notice, right? So these are white wheels. I think the reviewers got black wheels. I don't know what the quality difference is between the two wheels. I imagine that they're probably the same. I don't see, they look like AE&D wheels based on the hub on the inside. They're probably really high quality wheels, but they're white and they're not black. And I think that's a little weird. We also got these footboard sizers. So I don't know what these are for, but they came in the box, so I'm showing them to you. It looks like if you're riding a 28.5, which my foot is, 28.5, you do not use one of these. But if you're skating, if your foot is 280, like a 43, then you do skate them. So this will probably raise your foot a little bit in the boot, fill it out a little bit more, and make it fit a little bit better. I'll keep these. If I have a little slosh, I'll put them in there and see if it makes a difference. Let's put them over here. We also got some anti-rocker wheels. So they come flat as well as anti-rocker. These are, I think, the same ones that came on the Solos or on the New Jack. So yeah, it's the same anti-rocker wheels. They're anti-rocker wheels. I mean, if you didn't want to skate freestyle, you put these on. They're not great. I don't like this design. I think this design, this barrel design, doesn't do much for you. I think if anything, it should be angled, kind of like the Kaiser ones. That's the way that you skate. This creates a harsh angle, so when you stick on a front side or something, you're going to hear that squeak. Nobody likes that squeak. And they don't spin, so it's nice that they're in the box, though. If you don't want to skate flat, definitely nice to have a little bit of extra on you. What else do we have? Hardware. All these things are just coming out of this box. Let me take the rest of the box so I can get rid of the box. So the only other thing in the box is the other boot. So I'll put this aside. Put this other boot over here. Hardware. So I think it's crazy that the boots aren't assembled. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know. I've skated a bunch of boots. I've bought a bunch of boots. I don't think I've ever seen a DIY sort of assemble it yourself skate that I paid, you know, retail price for. This is weird. This is definitely a beta, and I totally respect that it's a beta and that, you know, they're trying to learn from the market and see what works and what doesn't. I think definitely the product that you get on the inside of the box should match the product that you purchased. So black wheels. It shouldn't have white wheels. Assembling the product, I think, is important. Having the bearings in the wheels and the wheels assembled, I think that's important. It's just, again, this is a very niche product. I think this is definitely going after a very specific market of people who already know that they need this skate, that they want this skate. They're already aggressive skaters. They probably won't skate those wheels. They probably want their own bearings. Totally get that. But it's still just the thing. Like, you should put them in. Like, they should be pre-assembled. Take them out of the box. They should be ready to roll. They do come with, what are they? Can't even read which bearings. I think they're pretty good bearings. I think they're what are those bearings the rollerblades come with? I can't remember the name. Oh, I dropped that one. Oh, they are ILQ9s. So they're twin cam ILQ9s. They are serviceable bearings. They're really nice looking bearings. I mean, and again, I don't want to give them grief over not assembling them if the quality of the product is great. They are ILQ9 bearings, classics. They are serviceable. Definitely more of a higher end product. These wheels, definitely more of a higher end product than you would find on any other skate. You know, these are signature wheels. They are high quality wheels. They are like, you know, if John Fromm skate came with, you know, red eye wheels, they would be on that level. They're not OEM wheels. They feel like legit wheels. They're just the wrong color. All right, so how do we do this? Let's start measuring some stuff. So I always love to get into geeky stuff. I did bring my scale. Just without having... So let's take this frame off. Oops. I need to get an Allen key. I'll be right back. Forgot Allen key. I have everything else, but I forgot a way to take off the frames. Ugh. All right. I kicked the camera a little bit. There. All right. I'm good. Oh, wait. Let me turn back a little. So disorganized tonight. Sorry. All right. Let's take these frames off and start weighing things. So I usually like to weigh things with boot only, because I think people always have a preference with their frames, whatever frames they like. Also, a pro tip for you. These are electric screwdrivers. They give you enough torque to get the screws off, but they won't over torque. So it's a really good way to service your skates and put on your axles and frames and stuff like that. They're like $20 at Home Depot or wherever you get them. They're rechargeable and everything. They use just standard bits. We use a ton of these. Much better than just using an Allen key. And they won't strip you out. They won't give you too much torque and screw up the threading or anything like that. They're really, really perfect for what we do. All right, so this is boot only. So this sole plate, let's measure it first before I get ahead of myself. So get my scale, measuring in grams as we do. Grams. All right. So boot only, 1552 grams, 1552. So how does that compare? So let's compare it to, what do I have that's boot only? So let's compare it to the Sway. I have this boot only. I'm just going to grab a few that are boot only. 1552 is what the Rollerblade blank is. Blank by Rollerblade is 1552. USD Sway 1292. So say 250 grams heavier for the blank. 1552. Let's see, what else is good? We could put on these Rossi's fifths. 1552 is the blank. 1569 is the Rossi's fifth. These were a fairly heavy skate for me, so 1552 is up there. That's going to be a pretty heavy skate. We can always go to Old Reliable, the heaviest skates that we got. Oops, too heavy. 1552, 1705. You guys always say, oh, you give Rem so much crap. 1705, people. That's a heavy skate. Now, some people will say, oh, but I love having a heavy skate. It makes me feel good when I jump and gives me a little bit extra rotation when I do spins. Nobody needs 1707 on their feet when you can get any of these other skates and really enjoy it. This is going to be a fairly heavy skate. So it's not super heavy. It's on the higher end of heavy. I don't know why. Wonder what the... where are they? I wonder what the solos were. See how heavy these are compared to the solos. I lost those other solos already. Oh, they're there. Let me take these frames off real quick. And let's compare these solos. Now remember we're comparing boot only. Oops, I didn't go far enough. We're going boot only because everybody likes their own frame setup, their own wheel setup. Some people skate anti-rocker. So this is the Rollerblade Solo. 1400. So I guess it's the sole plate that's heavy. I'm not going to take the sole plate off, but it's 150 grams heavier than the Rollerblade Solo. Now, obviously, there are little holes in the Solo, but I can't see that adding that much material. It is a fairly heavy skate, and that's weird. I don't know why it would be heavier than the Solo, not that much heavier than the Solo. Super interesting. Almost everything is different, though. So if you look at the Solo, you can see the influence. You can see around the cuff area, the way that it attaches to the boot, the little heel area, the same lines there. The toe is very similar, but it's a little bit heavier, which is a little unexplained, but I guess that's the way that it is. Speaking of Royales, so I just did a video about Royales and how Royales are. This looks really nice. So this looks like a really nice wide sole. I feel like just looking at it, it might be a little bit better if this heel came out a little bit more square. This kind of is reminiscent of the Them 909 soles to me. Which I'm sure they're not as, they're a little bit bigger than the Thems. Let's see, I have my ruler here. So at the biggest area around the toe, we're looking at, millimeters. We're looking at about 42 or so. Biggest area around the toe, yeah, we're looking at 45, 46. So these are a little bit wider, but the angle that they present at the heel, you can see is a little bit more tapered. And just like the Thems, it's a little bit more tapered. Now, I'm not great at topside tricks. I don't know that that's going to make any difference to me. But usually, when I do slip out on topsides, it's because I roll a little bit too much. And having a heel back there to connect usually helps with that. I think that's pretty subtle, though. I think this is going to feel great when you're skating. And yeah, the Royale looks great. The angle that it presents looks really nice. I'll get my rail out. Let me tighten this frame on real quick. I won't go all the way tight, but I'll show you what the angle looks like when you're doing Royales, and we can compare that with some other skates on the market. So this being the blank SK, that's with the blank frame. It's a pretty nice angle, maybe a little steep. Compare that to, the Adapt with the primes. This is kind of what I model my skating off of. I think this might be a little steeper, actually. Very similar, though. So I think that Royale angle is going to be really nice. I think I'm going to really enjoy the Royales on these skates. What else is to say? So it has a 45-degree strap. This is a Velcro strap, which I always prefer. I do think the crank strap, the ratchet buckle strap, is really awesome, but might be a little more speed fitness than anything else. This strap is really well made, though. Like, the quality looks amazing. It's got 3 little connectors over here. Usually a strap will have like 1 over here, but this has 3 little areas that is connected. The Velcro that goes across. I'm excited about this strap. Even on the Solo, I think it just had, it had rivets. So the Solo also had 3, but it only had rivets. And this strap definitely doesn't have the polish that this strap has. This strap is really nicely made. Let's break open this liner and see what's going on inside the boot. So the Solo was a flat sole boot. That means that it has a internal shock absorber to provide a slight heel raise. I don't expect anything different in this skate. Get out of there. Yep, no different. Ooh, the laces are stuck in there. There we go. So these are the liners. These are the stock blank liners that come in the blank SKs. Look really nice. The construction is really high quality. The tongue looks like it's sewn in the way that it should be. I get a lot of toe pinching with some liners, especially like from razors, where the insole, the little tongue area comes down, and this area goes to the bottom of the liner, right above where your toes are, and this tongue just kind of slips down and it hits and it digs into your toes. That's absolutely not going to happen here. It's really nicely constructed, goes really high up on the foot, and it's got this sewn area that will keep it from sliding down. So no problem there. It also has a neoprene toe. So you can see my toes, if those were my toes, but they're actually my fingers. So if you needed a little bit of extra room, if your foot swells a little bit when you're skating or something like that, you've got it. You don't have this hard stop at the end of the liner. You've got a little bit of squishy area. This is a size 44 liner. Now, I think this is a, what was it on the box? This is a 43-44. So this is a dual size liner, 43-44, size 10, 10.5. I am at the high end of that. So 28.5 centimeters is my foot. I am a 44 in most skates. I'm assuming I'll be just fine in this skate. It looks like it will fit just fine. Inside it has an insole. Love the color. Very unexpected, bright pop. It's got a really interesting curve to it, like a cupping. You see this insole. Look, this is molded, like it's solid this way. It's not squished and then it just came out. It's going to feel really interesting on your foot. One of the nice things of having a big company like Rollerblade is they make these insoles already for so many different skates that they could probably just say that one, pick from a variety of different insoles that they've already made. So this might be an insole that's already available in another skate that has been tested, that's been proven it works. It is a flat insole. So aside from the supportive area, which is some harder material, it's this material the full way. So there's no additional heel pad in the back, which means that you're not going to get an additional heel raise when skating these insoles. I did have that problem with the New Jacks, the New Jack team. The insole also had padding, and there was padding on the inside of the liner, at the bottom of the liner for the heel raise. This heel raise had a heel raise. So it was heel raise here, heel raise here, and it was already a raised heel boot. So I felt like I was falling forward a lot, and I felt sluggish because I was like on my toes whenever I was skating. That's not a good feeling. So you had to ditch the old insoles, figure out something to do with the liners. This looks like it's not going to have any issues. I shouldn't have any problem skating them. The tongue feels really stiff. I'm not a big liner expert, but this definitely feels stiffer than other tongues that I'm used to. I don't know if there's a material in there, like a plastic or something. It's a very stiff liner tongue. It does have a lace-up, though, which I kind of like. I was very anti-lace-up in the beginning, but I started coming around to it, so long as there's a 45-degree strap or some way that I can tighten up my boot as well. Otherwise, it's just having a liner inside this boot that's slopping around. If you've got nice laces on the outside and you can tighten your laces on the boot, then it feels really nice. Going a little further, we've got more fun colors underneath. This is the shock absorber, also in the bright green. Love that. It has a little Velcro at the bottom. That's cute. Little Velcro that keeps it from sliding around. This shock absorber is amazing. So it still says Solo on it, which is proof that this was the Solo mold. This is an amazing shock absorber. So it is custom made for this mold. So if you look inside this boot, it's kind of hard to see because of the lighting. But it's the reverse of this. There are these little raised areas here. And then this is just a nice and steady incline so that you don't have that drop off like you do with the Razor's Genesis, where it kind of goes like this, and then it goes, shoo. Nobody wants that. You want a nice, comfortable, You want to feel like you're leaning forward. You want a noticeable heel. I think this is going to be really great for that. And the little Velcro keeps it from sliding around. Ain't gonna fall out. What else is there to say? So, first impressions, this frame looks really long. I'm used to skating 50/50 prime frames. These are 270. That's long. That's got to be 290. So typically a aggressive frame for a size 10 is 265, 270 or so. This is a long frame for a size 10. The K2 Unnaturals came with, or the K2 Front Streets that I had came with these super long frames as well. And it was comically long, but they were rockerable. So having a really long frame skating flat wasn't a problem because you could rocker the middle wheels down a little bit and give yourself a little bit more mobility. Just like a wish frame. A wish frame doesn't feel long because you can rocker the inside by using different wheels. This doesn't have a rocker. So I'm stuck with a 290 frame, I would guess. Let's get the ruler out. $290, yeah, 290-ish. That's a long frame for me for a size 10. Especially if I'm going to skate anti-rocker. I think this is just a flat frame. Skating anti-rocker with 290 is going to feel very train tracky, very sluggish. I'm not going to be able to turn very much. Definitely think, if they are taking feedback, this frame shouldn't be on this skate. This is like a size 12, size 13 frame. Size 10 should have something around 270. I don't know how big their the size 9 frame is, but definitely this is a very long frame for the size of the boot. I've heard, so through some reports, full disclosure, I do own 50/50, and I get people who have bought these skates emailing me saying, hey, something's wrong, help. So obviously I know a little bit about that. I've heard two things, and I wanted to take a look at it. Two things. One is that the UFS mount isn't wide enough, isn't 167. It's a little bit shorter, 165. So I wanted to measure that real quick. I also heard that the channel for the sole plate was a little narrow. So I'm going to measure that as well. All right, so off with these frames. I wonder if it says the size. Yeah, 290 it says. Blank size 3, 290. That's just really, that's a long frame for a size 10, in my opinion. I usually say if you're taking your foot, you should get a frame about 10 to 15 millimeters shorter. And I'm 28.5, so I would be around 270 or so. 290 is very long. I don't think you should have a frame longer than your foot, unless you've got a rocker of some sort, in which case the effective wheelbase is different than the actual wheelbase, but this is not rockerable. So taking a look at this, I've heard two reports. One, that the UFS mounts are a little far apart. I think that's possible, but I've never skated I never skated prime frames on the solos. I don't see them changing anything on this. I don't think they made any adjustments. So I think if it was like that on the solo, it's probably like that on the blank. So let's measure those real quick. For reference, the UFS standard is 167 mil. If there was a wiggle room, the technical standard says that it should be between 165 and 170, which is crazy. Like, if it's a standard, just tell us what the standard is, right? So measuring it here, this one feels like it's 166. So I don't think I'll have any problems mounting on this solo. Let's try the blank. Yeah, it's like 166. Let's see if I can fit the frame on. So these are the John Fromm prime frames. It's a little off, but not by much. I'm sure I could get those on. The thing with the prime frames is, and something that we're going to improve, we didn't do a very good job of making those holes. The holes are a little too precise. So it's like right where the screws need to be, which is kind of a mistake. So we will be making changes to it in the future. But I don't seem to be having any problems putting them on. So it might be a little hit or miss. Sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't. But I didn't have any issues mounting a prime frame on this size 10, 10.5 blank. Now, a few notes. It is close. I should definitely, as the fitty guy, I should definitely refine this so that I can make the frames a little bit more movable. A couple mil to the front and to the back, rather than a circle creating an oval, will probably make it better. And that's something that I should do. I don't think blank is off, though, by much. You know, maybe those numbers are a little bit off, but I got the frames on. You know, and it's not like I had to do much. I think if you're struggling to get the frames on, definitely do one bolt at a time. Do a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit. Go back and forth until you can secure them. Also, remember, this is a beta. I don't see them making changes to that, so I will definitely be making changes to the frames so that they are more adjustable, so they're more compatible with the different widths and tolerances. They sure look good on there, though. Black with the primes, with the John From's. I like that look. Another question, though, was the width. So the channel on the inside for the UFS is supposed to be 41 millimeters. Yeah, you can hear that. You can hear that struggling to get out. That is the thread being so close to the core of the frame that it can barely get out. All right. So let's measure that. So the channel is supposed to be 41 millimeters. That was the UFS standard. Now I've heard that some people are having problems fitting classic balance frames on. We did make a change to the balance frame to make them a little skinnier on the top, starting with the John Fromm balance frames, actually. The John Fromms and the red balance frames all had that little channel a little bit narrower. This is the calipers. It will give us the dimensions. I'm holding it wrong. This is 43. Looks just fine. Yeah. 43 mil. So maybe it was the depth of the frame that people were having concerns about, but I'm not seeing any issues here. This is definitely fairly deep. So if you were skating something like, I think the old Cultic frames had a bit of a wide top, like the top of the frame. I do have some creates here. I heard that these were having problems fitting. They sure seem to fit fine though. So yeah, no issues there. It might be a different size. That's a weird thing, but you can see how close it gets to rubbing on the sole plate. Absolutely no problems. The last thing that I heard, and this was more of just people mentioning it and asking if I knew anything, was our beloved Wish frames rubbing on the front and the back of the boots. One of the nice things about the Solos was that the sole plates just mounted on the sides, which meant that the front area didn't have any resistance for big wheels. You could skate like 80 millimeter wheels up there if you wanted to, because there was nothing holding you back. These have a sole plate now. So what I'd heard was that the Wish would need to get the sole plates modified. And it looks like I might not be able to get them on right. It looks like that might be the case here. It's going to be close. These are pretty worn in. I would bolt them on and I would have to spin. You might have to do a little bit of a modification to get a Wish frame in. Not much, though. It's pretty close. These are fairly worn 72s. They're probably down to 70 now, maybe 71. But it's pretty close. You might have to shave off a little bit in the front, a little bit in the back to make these wish frames fit. But I don't think it's going to be a huge issue, at least for the size 10. If you're skating any different sizes, you might have a different experience. I'm sure that the sole plate is a little bit different for those size boots. But they sure look like they're going to fit fine for this size. All right. That is the blank. So I'm going to try skating them stock. I'm going to skate them with these frames flat. I'm going to skate them hopefully this weekend over at Durham. It really just depends. It's weird weather times. So we get rain, we get cold. If it's below my age, I'm 44, 45. If it's below my age, I don't skate. So if it's 45, I'm not going to go out and skate. But hopefully it'll be a nice day and I'll be able to skate. And test these out. I'm really excited to skate them. They look really great. Like the fit looks good. The clean lines look great. I think it's an amazing upgrade to what was an aesthetically kind of confusing skate, but functionally worked really well. I'm excited. I'm excited to skate these, and I'm excited to see what they come up with next. Rollerblade traditionally has tried a lot of cool concepts with their skates. They did the clear shells. They did like lots of screen printing on their shells. Not saying that we're going to go back to that design, but who knows? It's going to be really interesting to see what the next pro model looks like, what a team skate looks like, all of that. So yeah, great job. I think this is really killer. I'm excited to skate them. If you have any questions about the blank, let me know. Put them in the comments in the live stream, and I will answer them. Go through and answer a few questions, and we'll keep going. Let me put this back real quick. Oops, where'd it go? Oh, I cannot get them in though. Is it the lacing? Yeah. I'll leave them out here. Oh, all right, let's see if there are any questions. Get some water. All right, y'all. All right, few questions coming in. Now, I don't know when these were, but we'll see. It doesn't do great with comments. If you are watching live and you have somebody helping you, you can write down the comments. But for me, scrolling through, it doesn't work quite the way that it should. I'm rolling up to the top, though. Oh, a super chat. Hey, That Mountain. Hey, man, how are you? Any truth to the rumor that you're paying John in NFTs? Highest paid skater ever. I think you're referring to Ethereum. And no, we're not paying John in any form of crypto. It will be, what's it called? Fiat, hard-earned cash, probably sent by PayPal. John Fromm is getting $10 for every pair of walls that we sell. So that would be this with a complete. That would be this with just the walls. That would be this with the wheels and the anti-rockers, the full setup and everything. He's probably getting royalties as well from Red Eye. I'm assuming that he is. But $10 for every set of walls. So we're just going to break it down. The cores don't matter. It's just walls because we'll be selling the walls only. We'll sell walls to shops as well. So, but it'll be cash. It'll be PayPal, probably direct to his account. There will be no Bitcoins or any Coinbasing or whatever else NFT you're doing. Thanks for asking, though. And thanks for the super chat. It'll go straight to the helmets. Appreciate it. Ben Vanderhagen. I have UFS adapted Patrons and Argons, thanks to you, Mark Sundell and Andrew Kingery. I didn't know that you did the Patrons. That's crazy. But I did know that you did the Argons, and it's still crazy. But I'm glad that you tuned in. Kenan, Blading on the Brain, Played Against Sports. Yes, Played Against Sports was and still is a great place to get old skates. They were never my go-to for aggressive. We did, back in the days when I was doing sales with Fitty Fitty, they did have a few different Palladium Sports out there that picked up the brands. But yeah, it was always inline sports for us. It was, you go to Big Five, you go to Sports Chalet, you go to wherever. Those were the big places back then. Brew Mentionator. If you could review it, could you see about skating on your compass frames without the soles? I'd love to know how it works as a full rec boot and as an aggressive. I'm assuming that you're referring to these blanks, skating them without the soles on compass frames. I would love to. I might try them with the soles, though, if that's okay. Doesn't look like it's going to make any difference, but whenever I skate compass frames, I always like to do a few macchios because it's just fun. And if I don't have the soles, I don't want to just do a macchio with the straight boot. So I'll probably keep the soles on, but I will definitely skate the compass frames. I'll probably do 72s, maybe 80s. It's got a 45-degree strap, so I'm sure that 80s will be fine. Maybe I'll do 80s. I'll have to find some 80s. I think I'll do 80s. Good call, though. I think a big wheel session would be good, especially since it came from the Fusion. They used to sell them as big wheels. Maybe it'll be a good crossover skate for some people. Good question. Scott Malloy. Hey, Law, if you remember me, I'm the guy last summer that bought the Next 110s. I do. That I had to return because they had a pressure point. Those skates came disassembled as well. Did they really? Man, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting lucky, but I feel like skates should come assembled. Like, at least, I don't know, put the axles in the frames or wheels with bearings. Like, it just seems so silly not to have. Like, sometimes you'll see boots come with the frames off and the frames will be fully assembled, but they won't be assembled onto the boot. That makes sense to me, but just a big bag of parts. Like, this just seems... It just seems wrong to me. I could be wrong. I could be overthinking it. But I'd like to see them assembled in the future. And shame on Powerslide for having them unassembled. They should be assembled. Keep on blading. How do I find out what torque setting to set my screwdriver to? Is it all the same for the same brands? That's a good question. This doesn't have a torque setting. That's why I love it so much. It is just a screwdriver. So it is a low torque. It will do its thing, and that's it. This is a Black & Decker. I don't know what the model number is, but it is just a electric screwdriver. If you can find this on Amazon or somewhere else, this is the one that I would get. It's like $20. If you are playing with torque settings, start at the lowest torque setting so that you don't strip any axles or anything, and then crank it up if you like. But even the lowest torque setting is going to be easier than using one of these and twisting it over and over and over again. All right, scrolling. Few more questions, great. Anthony Mejia. Hey, Anthony, I remember you. Did you order the Mesmer skates? I did. So I have the Mesmers coming. I don't know when they're going to be delivered. I thought they were going to be here in December, but I haven't gotten a shipping notification. I got them through the distribution company in the U.S. Very excited to skate those skates. I'm glad that the blanks are here now, so I'll be able to skate them. And then when the Mesmers come, I'll come off the blanks and I'll go straight to the Mesmers. That's the goal. I've never skated the Fluid 5s either, so it's going to be a really nice transition from skating whatever I end up skating with the blanks to a completely new frame as well. Alex Paz, hello from Kauai. Glad to make the stream. Was right after dinner, so perfect time for me. Glad you're here. Looking forward to trying to get my clip for this month's trick challenge. Yes, it is the Star Grind or the Spin to Star. We're still talking about what the name of the trick should be. The old name was Porn Star, and that's fine. Like, I still call it a Porn Star. But when I put Porn Star on a YouTube title, I just get a weird feeling. I don't want to put that out there, especially since we're trying to make the blading community super inclusive, and I don't want kids to have their parents get confused and have them see that they're Googling how to do a porn star, for example. So that's the sort of thing that when we were inventing tricks, we didn't really think about. I think about it now as a dad and as an adult. Some trick names might need to be updated for the time. So we're calling it the star grind now. I don't think that's the right name for it. But for now, we're going to call it the star grind. Spinning to stars, I love doing that. That means you can do it alley-oop, you could do it true spin, you could do it in-spin, out-spin, you could do it zero spin, you could do 360 to it, whatever you want to do. It's a lot of fun. It's a great trick. It's a kind of a safety trick for me, going fakie. I really love zero porn. But I hope you can learn it. I'm going to try doing it forward. I've never done a forward star grind. That was just not a trick that we did back in the days. Mizu, yes. Mistrial, yes. But never forward porn. Just something new for me to learn as well. Chibi rolling. What's the width in the front floor of the boot? I'm assuming you're talking about the blanks. The width in the floor, it's going to be hard to measure for me. Yes, it's going to be hard to measure for me unless I take off the sole plate. So I don't know that I can. I can definitely get back to you after I take the sole plate off, and I will measure it, and I will measure the thickness of the shell. But I can't do that now. So I will, if you leave a comment in the video, I will research it after this. I will forget if it's just in the live stream, but if you leave a comment in the video, I will look after it, and I will measure it, and I will get back to you. Because I'm curious too, is this a narrow boot? Is this a wide boot? I think more people need to list the width of their boots as well as the length of their boots. I'll report back. Remind me. Thank you. Good question. House of Hain, when will you come skate the compound? Sam, I would love to skate the compound. You know I would. As soon as I can get out. It's hard to get up there, and it's going to start getting cold. It's cold in Maryland. I don't want to skate in cold. But I will definitely come up. I was supposed to come up in September, but I just got lazy. So maybe I'll do it in spring. I think that would be a right time. I saw that Clark finished up the street section. I'm excited to be skating there. Yeah, maybe we'll do spring, like April or so. Ravenous Pathogen. Hi from Kansas. Hope you should look into having Sean or Lyon as guests. I would love to. This is a live show that we do in the office, though, so having guests means that I'd have to have somebody over. And I don't see Sean and Lyon coming down to North Carolina anytime soon. It would be great if they did, but they aren't here yet. Jeff Lawrence, what price are the Froms going to be complete? So as the frame with the cores, axles, frame spacers, all that stuff, these are $120 in shops. They are the same price as the core frames, the prime frames that were black and silver, but John gets a royalty. So we didn't want to upcharge just because we put John's name on it. He's still getting the same $10. We're just going to eat that change. I feel like skate pricing is getting a little crazy, and $120 is a lot to pay for a frame, so I want to make sure that we keep it reasonable. For the completes, I think we're going to do $200 for this. Maybe it's $195. It's whatever the John Frum wheels are retail and whatever the Jason wheels are retail. We're throwing in the bearings for free. So I think these were $44 in shops, and I think these are $35. So these might be $200 complete, ready to roll, which includes the laces and the laces and the box and the assembly and the bearings and all of that. I think that sounds right, $200 complete. We haven't finalized that, but I don't want to undercut. The frames are $120. If the wheels are, say, $45 and the other wheels are $35, that brings us to $200. So we'll throw in the laces and the box and everything else for free. That sounds about right, though. And they'll be on sale on Saturday. That's why we haven't figured out the pricing yet. Still got a couple days to figure it out, but that sounds right. Bruminator. Will that blank sole fit on the old Solo? Also, it's pronounced like fermentation-ator, but the first syllable is brew. So brumentation-ator. Okay, thanks. I don't know. It's a great question. I don't know if they'll fit. Maybe they'll fit. I will give them a shot. It looks like they're using the same hole pattern. Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't fit. Good question. I will try, and I will get back to you. The better question is, I wonder if this will fit on these Rollerblade Solos. I'll give that a shot, too. All right. Do we have any more questions? I think we are caught up. So, question a little bit earlier about having guests. I'm absolutely excited this week, and I told you guys this was going to be a long episode. Absolutely excited a week that my friend Matt Lyon is in town, and he's going to be joining us for a little bit to talk about his setups and what he loves about skates. So let me scoot over a little bit and make room for Matt Lyon, a.k.a. Hood Panda, a.k.a. Naked Panda, a.k.a. Mayor of Columbus, a.k.a.
Neon Seba parts.
All right.
What's up,
Weren't expecting
everybody?
this.
Hello, world.
It's great to have you here, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for having
So
me.
Matt came down a couple days ago just to kind of hang out and session. I think he just wanted to get away from where it's cold and skate
So
where
cold.
it's not so cold. Matt, skates for Compass, Fitty Fitty, and Seba, and a few other sponsors that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Hood Panda Incorporated.
Hood Panda Incorporated that pays him in NFTs apparently. So Matt is one of my favorite skaters for big wheels, and I wanted to have Matt on to talk a little bit about his evolution of setups. So Matt helped us test the Compass frames and helped us refine what Compass frames were good for and how they should be designed. It's with a Compass frame. Do you have your Compass frames?
Yes.
The Compass frame, we didn't want to make an aggressive frame that was just for big wheels. So we came up with a design that worked really well for him. And that's what the Compass frame looks like. They're not pink, they're painted.
This
but-
is a greatly used Compass frame.
Yeah, slightly used Compass frame. So anyway, so that's Matt in a nutshell. What was the first... So when you started skating Seba skates, what were you skating before Sebas?
USD 7s customized from head to toe. It was a USD 7 with a razor cuff, a custom liner. I customized a 45-degree strap on it for more support. So yeah, it was that. Oh, and adapt sole plates.
And Adapt Soles.
And adapt soles. So that's what I was skating before. It was a Frankenskate of such.
With a 45 strap.
Yeah, because I loved how it skated, but I also loved razors before that. So I put a razor cuff on there, and I liked adapt soles because I like
Little bit of
shadow
everything.
soles.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the only thing I can find that was wide enough because I couldn't find shadows because they were
Yeah.
gone at the time. So then I transitioned into Seba once I became a skate instructor.
Mm.
And I started with the SX boot. So this is the SX boot. It was kind of the in-betweens of like the CJs, and there wasn't anything else other than the CJs.
No, it was the CJs and the SX.
It was just the CJs, and then it was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
SX boot. So this, I started off with the plastic one, and it's just basically a CJ, but with no logo on it. And I skated the first ones straight down to the ground for like the first year. It was my only pair. It wasn't my only pair. I got my first pair. I got a size 9, and it felt like a 10. So I had to get another pair size down, so it felt more like I'm an 8.5 true. So this is an
Okay.
8, and it ended up fitting perfect. So what I did the whole first year of skating an SX boot was switching it from big wheel to aggressive, and it was a ground control frame with 125s.
Did you have a sole plate, or were you skating it with no sole plate? Like it's
Mostly,
an SX.
mostly no sole plate because it was better for performance.
Yeah, yeah.
If I did put a sole plate on, it was for colors and aesthetics.
Got it.
To match an outfit.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
Usually. So it put a double beating on the boot.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is when you get these skates first out the box, they are a very stiff,
yeah.
supportive skate. Like you put them on and they feel like a razor, but like with a better skin, and like personally I think they're more supportive. Better like integrated liner material.
Mm-hmm.
So after beating them for a while and trimming down the cuff, you can see, there's the camera right there, you can like trim those down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want to get it, a little more flexible, I trimmed it all the way down. So I beat them up, and let's see here.
So after you skating those skates, what you were skating big wheels with those, and then
big
you were
wheels
skating.
and these, yes. So after I beat them down so much, I mean, I did like a 30-day challenge in them.
Yeah, yeah.
I got another pair.
Same skates.
So I got another pair so I can stop switching from frame to frame.
Got it.
So one was a big wheel and one was already broken in. So after it's broken in, it actually was a really good aggressive setup because the flex in it was so good. But
Was that a carbon or was it the plastic one?
Still plastic.
Plastic.
Yeah,
okay.
but you just got to beat it down. So from like here down, the flex over just was really good.
Got it.
So yeah, let me put this down for a second and I'll show you.
Matt brought a bunch of skates.
I have 5 ready to roll Siva setups. No joke at all times. So this is my first SX boot that got beat down so much. So what I ended up doing is, since it was already beat and starting to wear, I gutted it. So when you gut these, you actually have to gut quite a bit out, more than you think, and then put this in there and threw the wizard frame on. And it was like a brand new skate.
Yeah.
Like all over. You can even see this is the cuff that is like cut. So this skate become a whole different experience and a fresh experience. And also I started painting it like I do most of the things I get after about 6 months.
Yes.
So this became my wizard setup. So I had a wizard setup. And then the other setup I had as my big wheel was starting to get broke in. So I turned it from a 125 before it got too broken in. These are my late night date nights. These are just straight up show off skates. So it is a green cuff and I painted it with glow in the dark paint so it shines. Some light up wheels, and this is a spark wheel. So when I'm doing a soul slide, it sparks and makes everybody go woo.
Yeah.
So this one was getting broken in a little bit, but I stopped beating it to a certain point so I can keep it and still have all the support. Then, let's see here. It keeps going. It keeps going. Then eventually I upgraded. I really always wanted to try the carbon.
Yeah.
And I never got to because the Wizard SX boot was really hard to get.
Yeah.
And by the time I was messing with Sivas, it was almost non-existent in my size.
Yeah.
So, it took actually a couple times for these to get restocked for me to grab a pair of CJs. And these are the ones with the integrated liner. And they're carbon. So when I first got these out of the box, I think, oh, they're going to be really stiff. So I'm going to make it a big wheel setup.
Sure.
I set them up first with the compass wheels and my frame. So it was an 80 millimeter black frame. But I noticed when I started skating, it actually had a little more flex. And it had such a similar flex to what my SX boot was after it's been broken in to be an aggressive skate.
Huh.
So brand new.
But even though it was carbon.
Even though it was carbon, it still had... It's hard to explain. Like, it's like from down here, it just bends topside a lot better.
Oh, interesting.
So, I mean, it still was supportive, but for some reason, now I just skated aggressive. Since I couldn't, I was like, well, I'll just keep an SX boot since it's a little more stiff and plastic.
Yeah.
So when I skate this, I just tighten it really tight here, and I leave this loose depending on what I'm skating, unless I jump a gap or something, which I still jump gaps in the prime frames, which I love these.
Poor heels.
Yeah, poor heels. But the prime frames I've grown to love. I was skating the prototype ones forever.
Yeah.
And another thing that Lawrence sent me and said destroy, and they lasted. They
lasted pretty well.
They lasted a while. So these were the next upgrade. And once I put anti-rockers in these, it's been great. Like, Royales on these are just...
Yeah, it's a fun...
amazing.
It's a fun Royale.
So I have a wizard skate, 2 80 millimeter setups.
Yep. One for business, one for pleasure.
Yeah. Let's talk about... I already showed the ones that are just to show off. Let's talk about these ones, because these are my favorite. These really are my favorite.
So these were the ones that you were skating in Miami, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I skated a water fountain ledge, so it was a ledge that had water just going, and I have not changed the bearings.
They're a little loud, but
still amazing. Amazing. I've obviously skated some really busted stuff there.
Yeah, we tell him not to do Royales on compass frames. They're not really designed for that, but
Yeah, you have to have pretty loose ankles to do
really
that.
low, really loose.
But honestly, if your ankles are there, doing a Royale with these is about the same as like probably those M12s.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah.
Because the sole plate for this is
Yeah, it's a
fairly
fairly wide
nice
skate.
low groove area.
So yeah, I've learned how to do Royales. It has to be on a very specific kind of ledge. It has to be angle iron. It has to be sharp. If it's really round, it doesn't really work. And the way I kind of think of it is if you're hitting a flat ledge, kind of lean your skates back like you're grinding up something. And it slides, and it's actually a sweet spot. If you're the type that's like me that gets kind of low on their top sides, you can top sole or like sit down fish brain. Macchios, neg macchios almost never miss with these frames.
Yeah.
Going around other places, other cities. I live in Columbus, Ohio, so it's a small city. You can skate around 20 minutes everywhere and still just skate and move with these. So that's what I love about them. I went to Miami and I didn't even get in the car very much, other than when it rained. And even when it rained, they still
hold on.
Still hold up pretty well.
A little louder than I would like, but at least they still spin.
These wheels have also been rotated.
Yeah.
I'd want to say twice on each side now. So even when they're wore in, usually when wheels like start to wear, I'm like, I'll just move to the next one. But I wanted these to slide a bit more because once you wear them in like this a little bit, not only do they still cruise really well, you get a little more grip, but also at the same time you wear in if you do want to do Royales or something like that, and the slides get really fun.
It's that outside layer of the wheel that as soon as you wear that off, like every wheel's going to squeak, and I'm sure you've heard like mushroom blading when they do wheel slides and you can hear like the goose honking. Like that sound is amazing. It's horrible when you have super fresh wheels because they don't slide out for me.
Right.
But wearing them down a little bit, you can see the layer is taken off. It's really, probably really nice slide.
Such a beautiful skate. So this is the all-around one. Also, the awesome thing is when I went to Miami, I only took one bag and a shoulder bag. So I threw my prime frames in the bag.
Oh, yeah.
And I just took this boot. So I just switched them off at the Frankie Invitational and swapped them back in and out. After skating them and literally drenching these skates in water to the point that my toes were squishing water out, the thing that didn't hold up that much is I've noticed my liner, the integrated liner, has kind of feels like, you want to feel that?
Yeah,
it's like a hard sponge, like a dried sponge.
Yeah, I'd feel that.
So now my next option would be to probably gut this one and
put a
make it Intuition. Because
so why did you, of all the liners, Intuition was the only liner you thought about? Is it just because everybody guts their liners and puts Intuitions in, or?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there wasn't any other options at the time either.
The next option I was thinking of is I do have an old FR liner. And the FR liner, it was from the FR1, which I liked. I tried FRs, and I had the Intuition liner, which is actually that one. And it's really thin, and I'm not a fan of thin liners. I love big, padded, big tongue liners. I don't know why, but just I love that feeling. So when I switched out the FR Intuition liner to an actual FR stock liner, the FR stock liner was just like Seba's.
Oh.
So I want to assume Seba's like first versions of like FR were about the same.
Yeah, probably.
But I think after I got this, I still have that FR liner. I might see what that feels like in here.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, and I put the Intuitions in with the heel pad and make it a cool setup. Maybe I'll probably keep it with this and an Intuition. That'd be actually pretty cool.
Have you skated those since? Did you skate those today, or did you skate prime frames today? The other boot.
Which one?
What boot did you skate today?
I skated.
Not that boot.
I skated the prime frames.
Yeah.
These
so
ones.
That boot, because the liner is so squishy and feels like the sponge, you don't skate that boot now, or do you still skate it, but it's just not comfortable?
I still skate it. Yeah, it's just I can feel a little difference.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been wet and dried out.
Yeah.
With a blow dryer. Because
that's what you do.
I had to do that. I mean, I got on the plane and it was still dripping.
Yeah, that's not okay.
I do think. Let me see here. you look,
Yeah.
this is the SX, this is the CJ. This one looks almost a little more padding, or maybe it's just me, but I feel like the SX boot had a little more.
This is the SX, this is the CJ.
I feel like the SX feels a little more padded. I feel like they took the padding down by like 12%.
Maybe like
CJs.
less of an aggressive setup, responsive, more of a cushiony
and
free skate setup.
I've tried the CJs with the removable liner. My friend has them. They are more for somebody who has wide feet.
Got it.
And Sebas are already a pretty wide skate.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've skated mine. I don't remember, but...
Yeah, I've never been a fan of skinny skates. So, like, I've always had razors. Yeah. Shadows were my favorite. Sevens. But, yeah, if you get the one with the removable liner...
Yeah.
If you have a wide foot, that's what you're going to want to go with.
Makes sense.
So, those are most of my fun trick setups. These are my Zoom Zoomies.
Yeah.
So
I'm not familiar at all with this boot. Which boot is this?
This is the Seba Highlight. They have a carbon version of this as well. This is just the plastic version. It's really, feel how light that is.
Oh yeah. Even with big wheels.
Yeah.
That's nice. And
it's the most stock setup you'll see me have tonight.
Yeah.
And even stock, what I really liked about this is reflective. So when I'm skating at night and like cars are seeing it, that's why I like light up wheels so people can see me. It's a really cool boot. I always think if you're like me and you skate a lot, have a setup that is for big wheels, because when I was skating the SX boot, it's a flat boot.
Yeah.
This has a raised heel. I didn't think it would make such a difference, but it does.
Totally.
And I know I was talking to you about this earlier, but a lot of people don't know this. If I were to take this off, there's about 9 holes up here and down here where you can turn this frame sideways. You can shift it over, point it out. Somebody explained it to me once. It gets really deep. Like if you're bow-legged, there's a certain way you can set it up and whatnot.
Pronation or whatever it's called.
This also works well if you want to get into slalom skating. It's a very, very controlled. You have a lot of control with this. Like, you feel very grounded to it. This one I have yet to get all the neon parts for. Yeah. But I'm sure I will at some point. This is, like I said, I like to just zoom. Yeah. At one point, usually I have 125s on here. At one point I was doing like Postmates with skates. Huh. Yeah, so I would put on 125s and a 50-50 backpack and put food in it and just skate around, because I skated everything.
It's just as fast, right?
I needed a direction and it was paying me. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, why not?
So yeah, but this toe cap, I don't know. This would be a pretty cool aggressive skate if I can mod it, but it honestly doesn't need it.
Doesn't need it.
110s is pretty cool, and it kind of calms me down a little. I can do a little more tricks and jumps with these. Yeah. So I like them. And Seba, I'm not going to lie, probably 60%. All right, I'll say 50% is the colors. Yeah. This is the colors for me.
It's crazy that they have so many parts. Like, when you think about the other skate manufacturers, they really just come out with a skate. And then that's it. Like, maybe they'll come out with a few different frame colors, but same sole plate, same, like, cuff, whatever. Yeah. I mean, you get 7-8 different colors of cuffs and sole plates on this.
And the color kits, SG Distribution is who does it in the U.S., and it's sometimes people sleep on it. If you go to their website, like, you can get a color kit for like $50, and it comes with a pink cuff, a pink sole plate, and this comes in pink.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they have these in colors. Comes with the laces as well. So I've gotten pink, green, white color kits.
It's a crazy price.
Yeah.
Like, sole plates are usually, what, $50 just by themselves, let alone a cuff.
That. Yeah, you get the whole package, and it comes in like a really cool like case.
That's awesome.
They do the sole plates go camo, blue, purple, pink, yellow. I got a lot of them too. I just love
black and white, I'm sure.
Black and white, but I change the setups probably every couple weeks. Yeah. Just because I like to.
Yeah.
But in the same thing with every cuff, you can see there's like that thing where you can cut it. And a lot of people, I don't think really, I mean, Sivas are expensive, so a lot of people don't get to see these up close. But when you see them, there's actually a lot that you can do to them. A lot of people I've heard, they get them and they're like, I didn't like them, they were too stiff, and they threw them out.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to give them a chance, you got to play with them a little bit. And, you know, they're very durable. That first pair is still like a brand new skate. Once it wears down, you can just get a liner and fix it up.
When they came with the Prime, the CJ Prime, that had the gutted with the Prime liner, I think it made so much sense because that's what a lot of people are doing. And they had the Wizard that was pre-gutted that you could put in the Intuition, and it was just the boot that was a, linerless boot or whatever they called it.
Wasn't it just Lyon doing that, I think?
I think that Siva had it, and maybe it was just Shop Task that had them do it specifically or like only for them. I don't know. I think it's smart to have it in their line. I don't think enough companies do shell only. Like everything is, full, complete, or boot only. Like, what if you already have your liners? What if you don't want, their liners? What if you want to bring your own Intuitions or whatever?
Yeah, and I mean, they have this protective toe cap, but this actually takes a lot of the beating. I remember on the first one I had, like, it went down to the screws, but, like, they're easy to replace.
Yeah.
The only thing I really modified with this is this strap came out to, like, here.
Yeah, mine does. Yeah.
Because, like I said, I just tighten it really tight and just leave it a little loose up there. I don't know if these sole plates are compatible with other boots. I almost want to think so because at one point, I did have Adapt soles on my Sivas. I think I did that last winter.
I don't know that the sole plates are compatible, but I know that other sole plates are compatible. Like these sole plates might not fit on other skates, but I know other sole plates will fit on these skates.
Yeah. When I had the white Adapt soles on here, oh, it was just the perfect P-rail setup because every PVC I grinded was always, I never had to wax it.
No wax.
So that was my P-rail setup for a while.
It's dope.
But yeah, so many skates.
Yeah, that's a lot of skates.
I love them.
If you have any questions for Hood Panda, let me know. Leave a comment. I'm trying to bring a little bit more
I tricked them all by getting into the chat before I came in here. It was so hard to sit over there quiet.
I know.
I haven't sat that quiet and still since like...
I mean, it's good for you.
Yeah, I guess.
You come to my house.
I was shaking.
Play by the rules.
I played by the rules.
Stefan Brando. Time for more purple. Purple wheels. They look good. We'd like a little bit purple sole plates. Can you make a call? Get us purple sole plate, purple cuffs?
I can do that. I have purple sole plates. So maybe black, purple.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'll do it for Stefan's birthday. I'll do it and jump off a roof.
Jump off a roof.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I can do that.
With the panda mask on. Panda head on.
If that's what it takes.
I mean, it's the birthday boy.
Do it with
you don't make the rules. All right. So what's next on your... again, if you have any questions, take back to bleeding. We'd love to chat with you. What's next on your docket? So you came here hanging out. Where are you off to next?
I'm going back to Miami for the holidays. Just a little fun trip with the missus. And I'm taking my skates. And she's putting some more of my skates in her bag because I can't fit them all in mine. So the goal this time around is to take these and actually cruise around Miami a little bit and, put up some Hood Panda tags over, Jet Set Radio style.
Miami's a pretty big city compared to Columbus, right?
Yes.
Distance-wise, I don't know Miami. I've been there a couple of times, but I never skated there and I never really hung out there. When
it comes to traveling around Miami compared to Columbus, their alleys are as good as our streets. Like, skating around LA and Miami with big wheels, because it's not very hilly. In Columbus, there's some areas where it's just a steady little incline enough where it, like, bothers you. Yeah. But it's not like that in Miami. I covered so much ground last time. Yeah, it's totally flat, right? Yeah. And you can go to, like, I went to Frankie's Instagram and just looked at all the marks and landmarks in the background. And then I ended up finding the path he skated to get like his clips.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, so I have some more of the city that I didn't get to explore. So I'm going to skate around, explore. I'm not going to change the bearings or anything on the compass ones because I want to jump in water again. So I got to find that. That's like the only real goal I have. And skate Lot 11, that park is amazing.
Is that the place where the Frankie comp was?
Oh my
It looks beautiful.
The cement was so smooth.
It was unfortunate because it was raining. Like, you could see the big puddles, but it looked like just this, again, like you were saying, smooth.
So smooth.
Perfect skate. And most of the things looked round, even.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
There was like 3 round rails.
That's awesome.
There's actually like 3 parts of the park. You go in and there's like a small section. It's like where they had the first round. Then there's the bowl, and there's 2 sections on the side of the bowl. Then there's another kind of street course with a couple banks, and then another one with P-rail and some ledges. And then, of course, that fence that
Damon broke off.
Yeah.
That Snoop Dogg loved.
Yeah. So,
how weird is it that
great.
Snoop Dogg posted a clip of rollerblading?
Of Damon. He's posted me twice.
Has he? Snoop Dogg has?
Yeah. The highway stunt was on there last year, and then he shared on his story when I did the crate challenge. Skates. Yeah, Snoop Dogg shared that, and I was like, sweet.
You made it.
It's my friend now.
I mean, does he follow you on the Instagram?
Somebody does that he knows, but he doesn't. But yeah, a year ago that got posted.
That's
a year
crazy.
ago today.
Year ago today, Naked Panda.
Yep, highway.
On the highway.
Once and forever.
Never forget.
Never forget, never again.
Question from... never again, please. Question from Ben. Hey, Ben. Can't ever forget Matt running around Woodward in his super skin-tight suit, pounding on the doors, yelling, "We at Woodward, why you sleeping?" Yes. Did that footage ever make it out anywhere, or did you just...
It's in my Woodward edit on YouTube,
okay.
I believe. I believe there's a little snippet of it, and I have it somewhere on one of the 19 memory cards that I own.
I will try to remember to link to your YouTube channel from this, and I'll find that edit so that we can reference it, because that was a really fun trip.
I do have a 360 clip of me coming up to you with that suit, too.
Yes.
Like, early in the morning. It's funny everybody's reaction, because it's so early, and they're like...
Dude, it wasn't even that early, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm acting like it's like 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, you are.
Hype. That was a good time.
iRollerboot, thank you for the super chat. Amazing channel. Thank you so much. I'm going to donate that to the Helmet Initiative so that we can get some more helmets out to people. But thank you so much for watching, and thanks for supporting.
Maria says I should skate off a yacht or something in Miami. Yo, that would be lit. That. Yeah, so, another thing I didn't get to do in Miami. Lamborghinis are a big thing.
Okay.
And I love to hold on to cars.
Dude, don't get yourself beat up.
I'm not. I'll hold on to it. I know how to do it safely. Should I tell people how to do it safely?
I mean...
Because there's a bad way to do it. He's all about safety, so I'll tell you.
Wear your helmet. That's one.
Yeah, wear your helmet first off.
That's for sure.
We don't condone this behavior, but if you were to hold on to a car, do not hold on to the window and stand up, because when that car takes off, it's going to take your upper body and it's going to throw you off your skates. So what you do is you get in a low stance and you hold on to the wheel weld and stay composed. So when you want to let go, you just let go and you're composed instead of, all of that. And then I've seen accidents happen. So, and I've done it myself. And you live and you learn.
So, children, if you need to hold on to a Lamborghini, stay down, stay low. Wheel wells.
And if you have a Lamborghini and you're in Miami,
let me know.
Let
me know.
I'm trying to collab.
All right. I think we're good. We're at 2 hours. This is a good amount. Thank you all so much for joining us. Matt, at Hood Panda on the Instagram, that best place to find you on the TikTok, the Instagram,
TikTok is
YouTube.
Hood Panda. YouTube.
Where do you post most? Where do you think? Instagram?
Instagram and TikTok.
Instagram and TikTok.
TikTok's a little saturated because I have to follow, trends and whatnot. But Instagram's the most uncensored version of me on the internet. YouTube, Hood Panda TV. I stay up to date with that as much as I possibly can. That's
Instagram. It's the way to go.
Link in bio at all times.
Link in bio. Great president. Thank you for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. This was a nice little chat with our friend Matt. I hope that everybody is able to get out and skate this weekend. I know I'm going to try, depending on the weather, but I'm going to try to get out and skate those blanks. They look really exciting. I'm super excited about skating them. If you have any questions or anything else that I didn't get to or didn't get time to, please make sure that you leave a comment in the video so that I can go back and review the comments. I read every comment. I'd love to answer your questions. Thanks again to everybody at the Helmet Initiative for helping us with our helmet giveaway. Thanks for our Patreon supporters for helping us get the funds so that we can send helmets out to everybody. Be safe out there. Again, COVID's a real thing. It's looking like it's spiking up. Totally vaccinated up in here. I just got my booster. Be safe. We want to have more people hang out together. We want more events. We want more competitions. We want more rollerbladers being together. And the only way to do that is we keep you out of the hospital and keep you out of your bed being sick. So get yourself vaccinated if you can. Would love to meet you and hang out, and hopefully you can come out. We're going to have an event here in March of next year. That's going to be in Durham that everybody's invited to. It's going to be really fun. Crowder Power. Matt's going to be back with most of the balance distribution team.
We're going to be out here.
So yeah, we'd love to have everybody come out here. Let's be safe. Let's be healthy. And yeah, see you guys again in 2 weeks.
Later, y'all. I salute y'all. I holla at y'all. And I be with y'all. Yes.